Hey, this is Tony with Salt Strong, and in this video we're going to be talking about lure buoyancy. I'm going to be showing you some different types of lures. More importantly, what these lures are made out of and how that affects their buoyancy underwater, because this can play a huge factor in how you're presenting your lures. Also, making you more aware that you may have to switch the weight depending on the type of lure you're using when you're out there fishing to get the same type of presentation. So I have three lures here. One is going to be the Alabama Leprechaun, which I have here. This is our 5-inch jerk shad, and this lure is made out of a type of material that's called plastisol. So that's the first one. The next one is going to be our power prawn shrimp. This lure is made out of a material called TPE, which is a thermoplastic elastomer. And then next is going to be Z-Man. This is our Z-Man Easy Shrimp. This is the Slam Shady color that we have. And this is also a TPE material. However, it's a little bit less dense. It's more stretchy and softer than the Power Prawn, which is a little bit thicker, a little bit tougher, and it still stretches, as you can see there. And even though these two lures here are made out of a very similar material, the density of the material is going to play a huge role in the buoyancy of the material, which you're going to see in some underwater footage here. And then again, you have the plastisol material, which is the most dense, and again, you're going to see the difference in buoyancy. So let's go ahead and take a look at some underwater footage. I'm going to show all three of these lures and how quickly or how slowly they sink in the water, and also how they actually sit on the bottom when they do finally reach the bottom. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I do have all three of these lures rigged up the same way with the same hook, same leader material to make it consistent across the board. So first I'm going to show you here the Power Prawn Junior, which is that denser TPE material. As you can see, when it hits the water, starts descending down. It doesn't go too fast, it just has a gradual, slow descent to the bottom. Now you're going to see the Z-Man Easy Shrimps, which is a softer TPE material. As you can see there, the first cast it hit the water, it didn't even sink to the bottom. It just stayed on the surface, which shows how buoyant this type of material is. Then the second cast, it broke the surface tension of the water and started sinking down, and as you can see, very slow descent, much slower than the Power Prawn. So just goes to show how that less dense material is going to be more buoyant. So if you're switching different lure types but keeping the same weight, you definitely have to keep that in mind, that you're going to have to go to a heavier weight to get that lure down to the bottom if you're trying to fish that same depth. And then last one up is the Alabama Leprechaun Jerk Shad, which is that plastisol material, much more dense. As you can see, that lure glides down to the bottom much quicker than both of the TPE lures that were shown before. So if you are looking for a lure with a more erratic retrieve or a faster sink rate, this would be the way to go. Lastly, I wanted to show what these lures actually look like when they are sitting on the bottom, because that plays a huge role in presentation as well. As you can see, both of the lures that are the TPE material, the Z-Man shrimp and also the Power Prawn Junior shrimp, they both sit upright, where the Alabama Leprechaun is a little bit dead there on the bottom as it's sort of laying on its side. So if you were working the bottom, bouncing along the bottom in the grass or something like that, the jerk shad would work really well. Then if you were bouncing, sandy bottom where the lure is more exposed and can be seen, that more upright position would be the best bet. So the biggest takeaway from this is going to be your lure presentation due to the buoyancy of different soft plastics based on what they're made out of and based on the firmness or softness of those lures. Because if you're used to using, let's say you only use plastisol type of material and you're used to using the same weight for that lure, when you switch over to something that's more buoyant, you have to understand, if you want that same type of presentation or depth control, you're going to have to increase the weight of your jig head or your hook to get down to that same depth or to get that same type of action from your lure. So definitely keep that in mind if you are switching to different types of soft plastics. Just be aware you may have to change the weight as well to get that same type of presentation and depth control. And then lastly, as you saw in the underwater footage of the lures actually sitting on the bottom, If you are going for a much slower presentation, you want to go with those more buoyant lures with a lighter weight because they will fall much slower, stay in the strike zone longer, and when they sit on the bottom, they actually sit upright a little bit. So if, like, let's say a redfish is cruising along the bottom and it sees the tail of something sticking up off the bottom, that will entice that fish to go check it out and see what's going on, as opposed to something that may be laying flat and sort of hidden on the bottom. So as far as presentation goes, just keep that in mind as well. The more buoyant a lure is, that could be better suited for a much slower presentation, and then, you know, the less buoyant a lure is, that will be great for more of a darting, erratic retrieve, or a fast sink rate. So if you are interested in any of these lures that I just showed you in this video, we do sell them on our shop page at fishstrong.com. We have the Alabama Leprechaun jerk shad, 5-inch jerk shad. Then we have our Power Prawn Junior, which is this one here. This is the one I showed in the video. They do come in a 3-pack, and then we have our standard Power Prawn, which is a little bit bigger, and they come in a 2-pack. And then lastly, the Z-Man Easy Shrimps in the Slam Shady color. We sell all these on our shop page, and if you are one of our insider members, keep in mind you do get up to 20% off everything on the shop page. So definitely be sure to take advantage of that and save some money on your tackle and gear. If you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the best online fishing club in America because we actually guarantee that you'll catch more fish while saving time and also money on the tackle you need. We do this through premium education, our exclusive insider fishing community, and huge discounts on the best tackle for saltwater anglers. To learn more, go to saltstrong.com. Otherwise, we hope to see you again soon.